What is up, guys? Sean Cook here with the Buck Bomb. Today we are going over the scent attractants, and right now I'm walking back to our shooting lane. I think I'm going to find Jason and Blake back here. They're taking a little lunch break, shooting some arrows down the lane. You guys back here?
Yeah. Nope. Oh, interrupted my shoot. Alright, so I guess we should fess up that we obviously screwed up the Buck Bomb Live last night. Well, be careful about who we say we. Yeah, we. I mean,
I'll take credit.
His initials start with Sean Cook. Alright, so today we're going to do just a quick overview of what Buck Bomb's really known for. Obviously the urines, the scent attractants. And we'll, over the next few weeks, we'll be going into these in a little more detail. We just want to kind of give you an overview. We're going to focus on fall, basically big game, and just kind of give a general overview. We got, obviously, most people know Buck Bomb for the four main
natural urines.
Yeah, natural aerosols. So you've got the all season, which is, as it says, pretty much, all season scent, good cover scent, dopey, dominant buck, and then obviously everybody's go-to, the doe and estrus. So basically, again, tried and true, pretty much what put Buck Bomb on the map. Also, with elk season coming up in late August through September, kicking things off, we do have two elk bombs.
Bull and then cow and heat.
Right. Now, new for 2017, we've actually got quite a few new items for the Buck Bomb line. Blake, you want to kick things off?
Sure. So kind of our flagship is going to be the estrus. We've mentioned that before. Basically, we're starting with a certified doe and estrus that we know exactly how much of the estrogen hormones are in this when we start out from the farm. And there's going to be a lot more to come in the coming weeks that explains what estrus is all about.
Right, and so just to be clear, so basically certified means what it means. So our provider is collecting the urine, it's going straight to a lab and being tested and measured for actual estrogen hormone content.
Yeah,
so,
and it's not every 5 batches, it's every batch. Correct. That goes into these cans has a number assigned to it that says exactly how much of the estrogen hormones are in it.
All right, so we're pretty excited about seeing how this works out in the field. So we'll stick in the naturals for right now.
Yeah, so Buck Bomb has always had the doe and estrus. This isn't the look that everybody's used to. It used to be in the igniter bottle. We changed things up and we added more to the line. So to go along with the 4-ounce doe and estrus, we've also got the dominant buck, the dopey, and the ambush in non-aerosol liquid forms in 4-ounce bottles.
Right, so basically all we really did was we just basically took the lineup of natural urines we had in the bombs and just gave you a 4-ounce option.
That's right. You're going to use them in different ways. You can use them together, setting up wig sites and things like that, and then
mock scrapes, cover scents.
The aerosols you're using, as wind checkers and getting that major distribution that you don't get with the liquids.
Yeah. So in the coming weeks, we'll kind of go over some of the unique ways of how you can utilize, the aerosols and/or the liquids. There's honestly there's ways of using these that I don't think is necessarily obvious. A lot of guys have probably used them for a while and they've got their own little way to use them, but we'll go over those in the following weeks, kind of, just kind of unique little ways of this can especially is a lot more versatile, I think, than a lot of people realize. As far as you can use it for in place of a drag line, and as you said, you can use it as a wind checker. We've actually set a few off, and you can literally see the fog, as it moves, downwind. So we'll go over that in more detail in weeks to come. We'll also go over the new scent system icon. You don't have to close it. We'll go over that in a little more detail. That's kind of our, I guess our roadmap.
Yeah.
It'll be on the packaging moving forward.
Yeah.
We'll get it right here.
When you're in the store, it'll kind of.
Yeah. So here's a good example of it. Ideal to use for pre-rut, prime time, mock scrapes. So moving forward, you'll start to see that icon system. It's just kind of a little bit of a guideline roadmap to maybe help you figure out, which one do I need to start my mock scrapes? Which ones are the best ones for mock scrapes, in September, August, whenever you start your mock scrapes versus, what I want to use when I transition. I start seeing the bucks up on their feet, in the pre-rut and obviously on into prime time. So we'll go over all that in a little more detail. So that's our naturals.
Yep.
Again, just kind of filling out that 4-ounce option.
So guys, we have a question from Michael M. He asked, does overspraying affect the deer in a negative way, like spook them?
No, and that's kind of what we're going to get into
Yeah.
when we're talking about, when we go into more specifics about, the 4-ounce liquids. Jason and I went up to our deer farm and met with their veterinarian. Obviously, they have an extensive history on what happens in nature and live animals, and in their experience, they're seeing deer, depending on their health and hydration and things like that, that in a normal circumstance, they're putting out almost 6 to 8 ounces of urine every time they urinate. And you go to the shelf and you're seeing all these bottles, medicine bottles of 1, 2, 2.5 ounce bottles that guys aren't probably even putting that whole bottle down, let alone if they did. If you're trying to replicate what's happening in nature, you're at least a third of what's actually happening in nature.
So that's actually a great question and something that I didn't know until we met with the veterinarian. And so it's interesting because just what you pointed to. I mean, a lot of guys, they're going to buy the bottle, they're going to buy them a scent wick, they'll dip it in there, they'll hang a couple scent wicks. They may use that bottle, one little 1, 2, 3 ounce bottle over the course of 3 weeks, when in nature, every time that doe stops and pees, she's putting up to 6 to 8 ounces on the ground.
Right.
Well, so a lot of guys, I've heard it. I've discussed it, in hunting camp before. It's like, man, I don't want to use too much and spook the deer and make it unnatural.
If you're trying to draw them in, you might as well do what a deer's doing.
Exactly. So honestly, probably most people aren't using enough, and that may be why you hear people say, well, I've tried scents and they don't work for me. Well, if you're only putting 1 or 2 ounces on the ground at a time, and a doe, what's happening in nature is 3 to 4 times that. Maybe that's why you're not seeing results. So that was interesting. It was eye-opening. So no, the bombs themselves are 6.65 ounces. So that's right in line with what the veterinarian's saying. They're seeing on average in a natural environment, actually coming out of a doe. So setting off one bomb should not be an issue.
Yeah, and we're going to have a lot more discussion when we get into each one of these products specifically, in volumes and usages and things like that.
Right. All right, so I guess the next big thing is our synthetic line.
Right, so Buck Bomb has had one product, the synthetic doe and estrus, right? This is a few years old.
Yeah, a couple years old.
As some of the states were looking and talking about going and banning natural urines. Right. Since then, more states have jumped on board. Canada. So a lot of the territories up there have completely banned natural urines. So we've expanded that line, right? So not only do we have the synthetic doe and estrus in a bomb, we've also expanded it to include a dominant buck, a forehead gland, and an all-season ambush. So these two, are exactly the same as you get either in the natural urines with the dominant buck and the ambush. Just in the synthetic style. The other one that we added is brand new this year is a forehead gland. And this is we're going to get into when we get into the synthetics and 4 ounces. We'll kind of explain what that is. But in short, when deer are doing a rub or a scrape and they're getting in their licking branch, there's actually oils and things that are going onto the branch and the foliage around. And that's what this forehead gland is.
Right. And so next Thursday evening, we're actually going to do specifically, how mock scrape 101, because I've used them for years and had great success with mock scrapes. In Illinois, you can't bait, you can't put down mineral. So years ago, I started, testing mock scrapes to see if I could utilize mock scrapes to stop those bucks in front of my cameras, and the results have been extremely impressive. So next week, we're going to actually go over mock scrapes, and that's really the whole reason behind the forehead gland is, again, every time that a buck in nature, is working that rub, he's leaving that scent behind, on that rub. Same thing with the licking branch. He's getting up in there and leaving his scent on that licking branch. And so we'll go over that in detail next week. And so basically these two right here, you pour your forehead gland in this, you hang your wick, and that scent is right there where that buck expects to be smelling that forehead gland. Yep. So I'm pretty excited about this because I've had success with those in the past.
This is the product that a lot of people might be familiar with, but not actually know what goes into it, right? So this is a scrape generator that Buck Bomb has had for a few years, and they come preloaded with this
Correct.
scent on it.
Right.
You know, you could never get this scent in a concentrate form because it always just came on the scrape generator that you hung on a tree.
Yeah, and you guys will see, I'm actually going to post a photo of one of my own mock scrapes where I used this. I guess it's been probably 3 or 4 years now. And I had a guest hunter come to Illinois and hunt with me. First time ever sitting in this ground blind. I've been running a camera over this mock scrape all summer and had 3 shooters coming to it pretty regularly. And on the first time anybody actually sat to hunt that, he came in from out of state to hunt with us. He shot 160, I think it was like 163-inch 10-pointer. And the cool thing about it is I actually have a trail camera photo with this hanging in the tree in the background. The buck is walking right to it. And 15 seconds after that picture was taken, an arrow got put.
Sure enough.
So it's a pretty unique product, like Blake said. Now it's going to be offered up in a concentrated formula in 4 ounces to where you can use it on multiple mock scrapes, and again start that licking branch for your mock scrapes. So again, we'll go over all of these in more detail in the coming weeks. And obviously, you have any questions? We got any questions?
No questions yet.
All right.
You know, and the final part of the synthetics is we came up with a line of other big game synthetics, including the Elk Frenzy, Moose Mania, and Unbearable, to really help out those guys in the Canadian territories, as well as some of the North and Northeast states here in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean these are obviously, you know, to mimic urines. The Unbearable is basically a bait site in a bottle. I mean it smells, has a sweet smell like a, you know,
Cake or donut,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
You know, so when you're out there setting up your bait barrel or bait sack or your bear, you know, you use that, just kind of boost that aroma and get it out there. So, all right, so that's a brief overview of the scents that we're kind of looking at going into the fall. Again, we will follow up with all these in a little more detail. Next week will be actually setting up the mock scrape. I guess we should announce the bragging board winner for this week.
Final week.
Yeah, it is the final week. So we've chosen our top 5 trail camera photos that were submitted over the course of the bragging board contest. We will be posting those up. We're going to let you guys, the viewers, vote on those top 5. We're going to let that run through next Wednesday, whichever one gets the most likes. So when you vote, only like one of them, even though they're all 5 going to be, you know, good pictures. Whichever one ends up with the most likes next Wednesday, we will announce the grand prize winner. The grand prize winner is going to get a mock scrape starter kit and a hat. So again, look for that. I think it'll be posted up today. You got through from today
or this evening.
Yeah, today, tomorrow, and then you have again through next Wednesday to vote on that. Anyway, this week's winner was Nicholas Fielders. So
Nicholas wins what we've been giving away every week.
Right.
A choice of a Buck Bomb hat, and then choice of a 3-pound bag of Deer Domination,
or his choice of one of these new 4 ounces and a detonator.
So guys, Hunter Knepp actually has a question. He says, I hunt in Pennsylvania. Is it best to set the buck bomb on scrapes or along the trail where my tree stand is set?
You know, it really depends on what flavor you're using.
Exactly. So that'll go back into going over these in a little more detail with the scent system, icon system. So again, this you'd use year round. So really, to me, this is the ideal cover scent.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to spook game. You know, there's no estrids or, you know, dominant buck urine in there. So it's really just kind of, you know, hey, it's just another deer out there. A great cover scent. So this, yeah, I mean, you might want to take it out. And, I mean, even when you're checking trail cameras or setting up those mock scrapes, you know, to kind of help cover any human scent you might lead by. You might take an ambush or just a straight dopey out. So anyway, we will go over that. I mean, there's so many versatile ways you can use this and when you can use it. You know, a doe and estrus, you could use it, you know, to kick up that mock scrape, you know, around the rut time, you know, get that buck coming there thinking there's a hot doe in the area. You could use it again as a drag line and just spray it as you're walking. Go to your stand, as you said, let a little bit off at a time. Use doubles as a wind checker, you know, lock the tab down, leave it 15 yards from your stand, let it disperse and blow down wind. There's a lot of ways you can use each of these, and we will go over that in more detail in the coming weeks.
Yep, yeah, so
absolutely.
definitely check back each week as we start diving into what Buck Bomb's really known for, and then you can decide which flavor and what, you know, use fits how your hunting style is the best.
And again, obviously, you know, if you're wanting to use something like a wick, a detonator, you're probably, you know, that's probably going to, you know, have a lot to do with what you want to put in it.
Yeah.
So
what you put it in and where you put it out, right?
Well, and what you use. I mean, you're not going to want to sit there and try and spray that thing into it. So you're going to want to go with a liquid, obviously, if you're using a wick.
You know, and you're probably going to want to put it within shooting range.
Right. So yeah, I mean, a good question, and we will go over all of that in more detail as we kind of break down, what's the
Yeah, it
best
would
way.
take us hours to go over all the
Yeah,
products and
it
how to
really
use
would.
each.
So that's why we'll revisit aerosols one week. We'll go back to focus on the liquids, and then we'll even get into a separate week on just kind of the synthetics. So again, next week is mock scrapes. So you'll see a few of these used next week, specifically in how you could utilize them to set up mock scrapes, including the detonator. And I think that's pretty much it, unless we got any questions.
Well, there's one last thing we forgot about. As the bragging board's wrapping up, this is the last week of that. We're just going to continue as we go into the urines, and we've got a contest as well
The hit
as we
list.
go through this called the hit list.
Yeah, that'll actually start, I think, the second or third week of August. I mean, right now, we were really seeing some good trail cameras coming in these last couple weeks. The bucks are, they still got a little growing time left, but I mean, you can now see the special ones.
See what they're gonna
You
be.
can start to
Right.
identify deer that you've seen last year.
Right.
See what kind of growth they get. See if there's deer that are injured, things like that, and start putting together that hit list of bucks you're really going to chase and start patterning between now
Right.
and
So,
opening day.
everybody hunts for different reasons. Obviously, where you hunt kind of dictates how you hunt sometimes. But, for the guys that are really trying to manage herds, I know I like to, on the properties I hunt, we go through, in August, once we've collected all of our trail cameras, we go through them, we print them out, where we can look at them a little bit better. And we literally go through and we guess the ages, and on one specific farm where I killed my buck this year, we don't shoot anything that we think is under 5 years old. So 1 year old to a 4 year old, we try to pass those. And so basically we put together a hit list. This is a yes buck, a hit list buck. This is a no-go. This is a pass. And so really what the hit list is all about is I know there are a lot of guys out there, a lot of my friends and a lot of family and just a lot of hunters that's what they do. That they target specific bucks that are yes, no, let them go another year. And so that's really what the hit list is going to be about. We're getting into that time of year now where guys are going to start, deciding on, I'm going to go after this group of bucks. I'm going to let these guys go another year or whatever. They got some potential. So that's what the hit list is going to be. It's going to be show us the ones that have got you really, really excited. Now that they're kind of wrapping up their growth cycle.
Yep. The bragging board was showing your setups and the deer that you got coming in, just kind of inventory, and now we want to see your best deer. So that's what the hit list is going to be.
Yeah, so that'll be coming in a couple weeks, a whole nother trail camera contest. We're pretty excited about that.
That's right.
So guys, Hunter says thanks for answering his question, and he's going to run to Cabela's and see what they offer there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Obviously check your retailers, your local shops, see what's available. Some of these new items, they may not hit the shelves, for a few more weeks or whatever, just because you got a lot of the fall classics, some of the box stores going, dealers, they time their shipping. So yeah, check your local retailers, check with your local, pro shops and things like that. If you can't find something, you can always go to shop.hunterspec.com, our online store, and should be available there. So I believe we have all the synthetics now in stock, ourselves.
I think everything's in stock.
Extra should be in stock. This should be in stock. I'm not sure on the 4-ounce naturals, but if they're not here, they should be here, any day.
So Roger says the Buck Bomb Estrus helped me put my biggest archery buck on the ground
There
yet.
you go.
So
There you
that's
go.
more success stories.
Well, like I said, I'm excited about next week with the mock scrape setup because again, I've used them for a long time now, and it's amazing. I don't consider not being able to bait a disadvantage at all because I've had such good success with my mock scrapes. It's like,
It's just putting in the time.
yep, exactly. Putting in the time, doing your homework. So, all right, until next week, we'll be back on our regular time next Thursday night at 7. We'll try not to mess that one up.
All right. Thanks, everybody.